Hello, everybody. Welcome to another special program here on the channel. So we've got another great debate upcoming. If you haven't checked out the first one, which was on the Newcastle takeover, make sure to give it a view and check it out. This one should have all the passion and all the excitement of the last one, because this one's great debate is about the Ballon d'Or 2021. Matt and Anthony both have very strong opinions on this. I've got less because, West Ham players were cheated out of the Ballon d'Or. So, I'm protesting this award. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the list of 30 nominees, compare them to the favorites and see who we'd take out and take in, and just break it down in preparation for the great debate where Matt and Anthony are going to go head to head. And, that it'll be crazy. So let's get straight into it, Matt. So,
all right. No worries. Look, let's get straight into the first person on the list, and that's Cesar Azpilicueta from Chelsea. And look, let's first, before that, let's mention who the favourites are. Okay, so there's the current favourites are Erling Haaland, Robert Lewandowski, Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Kylian Mbappe, Jorginho, the Italian stallion, and Karim Benzema. So those are the current favourites to win the Ballon d'Or. So Azpilicueta, look, I don't see him getting replaced. I don't see him replacing any of these guys.
No, and we should specify, we had this conversation before, the way that the favourites are portrayed with what we've got here. So I think this was a post on Facebook.
Yeah, it was.
And it's used the stats to compare these favourites. Let it be known that the stats are used are goals. You're going to hear this frequently. People like Azpilicueta would not look good on this because they wouldn't have good goal stats.
Exactly.
And that's unfair on our
The Ballon d'Or is, throughout its history, it's been biased to attacking players.
Yeah.
And this image that we have, which we'll flash up on the screen as well, just to give you guys a little bit of an insight to what we're referring to. It has just the stats are the appearances, the goals, the assists, and the goals per game for club and international appearances for each player. And if you look at this and you see the only midfielder on these favourites to win, Jorginho, and you compare him to everyone else there, his stats look subpar or even worse than subpar, because it's just based on goals. And you've got guys like Robert Lewandowski, Erling Haaland, who averaging a goal or 1.5 goals a game almost. And you look at Jorginho, his goals per game is 0.2. It's always been an attacking bias, in my opinion. And I think it's something that needs to be a bit more of a level playing field. But in that sense, because it's an attacking bias, we wouldn't see Azpilicueta in that list.
No. And the second name on this list, Nicolo Barella, suffers the same problem. We're not going to see him on this list either because of the same result. Now, at least for me, Azpi deserves to be mentioned. I think he was really good.
It was.
For Chelsea. Great leader, a great player still, despite being in his 30s now. He's still really carrying in that Chelsea back line. A player Tuchel really works well with. But Barella is a surprise for me on this list.
Yeah.
I know he sort of did well in the Euros, but at least Jorginho, who we'll get to, was good club and country. I just didn't think Barella's performances in Serie A were all that impressive, but that's me.
Look, I tend to agree with you as well. I mean, around the time of the Euros, he played well in the Italian team. He played well outside of the Italian team in his club games around that time. But other than that, throughout the year, it's been a subpar season for him. So I was pretty shocked that he got onto this list compared to some other guys. I know there's one goalkeeper in particular I would have liked to see on this list, but we'll get to that when me and Anthony go through our opinions. But we can look to the next name now. Sorry, Jackson. Continue.
Oh, yeah. No, fair enough. Yeah, I was about to say, the first two names have been busts for players. I mean, I respect Azpi, but he wouldn't get on here. Barella, I just don't think is anywhere near the level of a Ballon d'Or winner or a finalist. Benzema, though, this is a surprise pick for me, honestly, because Benzema's in our top 7 in what we've got here. His stats are okay, but they're actually not as good as the other strikers.
No, they're not.
It's and France didn't do really well, in the Euros. He seems a strange pick, doesn't he? Seems a
He is.
strange
He
pick.
is. I mean, you got two French guys in that top seven as well. You got Karim Benzema and Kylian Mbappe, who we'll get to later on this list as well. But yeah, as you mentioned, his stats, they don't look as good as the other strikers there or the other attacking players. When you compare him to the likes of, you got Lewandowski on that list, you got Haaland on that list, then you've obviously got two of the greatest players in the game at the moment, Messi and Ronaldo. And it's kind of hard to be like, well, you got all those guys and you've got to compare Karim Benzema to all of them and see how much he outweighs. Like you look at his club and his country, he's very, very consistent with goals per game. He averages about 0.65, roughly 0.67.
Yeah.
And you look at that to say Ronaldo, he averages the same amount of international goals, but he averages over probably 0.2 more than what he does at club.
But there's the thing. Look, Benzema's only played for France 6 times.
Exactly.
Like, he's got half the appearances of most of the other lads. So for me, it's about the club stats. And at the club levels, he's only got a higher goals per game than Jorginho, which is expected for a striker. If he wasn't doing that, he'd be a very bad striker.
Exactly. Yeah. Look,
I think if we're going to add a midfielder onto this list or someone we deserve respect, I think Benzema is the one who's going to give way for someone.
That's my exact thoughts. That's my thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
Benzema would be the first person to take off this list.
Let's consider some of our options for who would go. So next we've got the 2 Italian centre-backs, Euro-winning centre-backs, Leonardo Bonucci and Cellini.
The legends, the 34 and 37-year-olds still winning titles.
Oh, incredible players. This is more competitive for me. As PR respect, but these 2 players, I think if you were going to add a centre-back to the list, I mean, we'll get to the other centre-backs as we go, but the other centre-backs we've got here, out of all the centre-backs on this list, it would be one of these 2 for me to throw into the mix. Because the fact they were able to continue doing it less at club level, but you know what? There was a lot happening at Juventus that was going to make it really hard for them to really make a difference. I think it's at the country level that the fact that these leaders, since missing out on the last World Cup, they've sort of been the leaders that Italy needed to regroup and try again and win Euros this time round. I definitely think that they wouldn't look good on these stats, but they're the kind of player that should be, highly considered for this.
Look, and the thing is, they've been doing this stuff for years. They've been doing this stuff for years together. Like they've been the leader of their clubs. They've been the leader of Italy pretty much most since Pirlo left. I'd say since Pirlo left, they've taken over that leadership role. Both of them, not just Cellini, but Bonucci as well. They've both lifted up the team. They're both passing experience onto the younger defenders that are coming through as well. So they are one of those 2 guys would be one of the defenders I'd put into this favourites, this 7 of favourites, but you can't decide who it is though.
Yeah, you can't. Between them, it's tough. And you've got to think as well, like they're still playing ahead of De Ligt, who was incredible at Ajax. They spent 75 million on him and he plays off the bench. And these 2 play ahead of him. That's how much faith there is in these 2 at Juventus. No matter how bad things get at Juventus, these 2 are trusted. And they do well. They're good players.
A 37 and a 34-year-old are getting played over De Ligt. Just let that sink in. These guys are mid to late 30s. They're getting played over a guy who, before he got transferred, they had an amazing season at Ajax.
Yeah. Now, we've actually got 2 Man City players next. Another centre-back and a midfielder. One of these players should be higher in the conversation, but I don't think he's had as good of a season that was necessary to get him there. The players we're talking about are Kevin De Bruyne and Ruben Dias.
And I think by that comment you just mentioned before, I believe you're talking about Kevin De Bruyne.
Yeah, because as said, I think if you're going to put a centre-back on there, it's Bonucci or Cellini. So I think Ruben Dias isn't, even though he got Premier League Player of the Season, which would have been mid-2021. So you'd include that in your considerations for this. It's not the same for me. I think that Man City team is just going to be really good. he's a great player, but I just would need more from DS, especially to break that striker bias. You've got to be a really good centre back to earn it. It's why it took someone like Van Dijk to even get into the conversation. But Kevin De Bruyne, brilliant player, incredible player.
He's been a brilliant player for years, and I mean, it's just been a down season for him, and the season in question for the Ballon d'Or selection this year. So I can't see him getting into those seven guys, but he is a world class player who's shown on numerous occasions he can play and should be up there in those conversations. But it's just been a quiet year for him, and I guess some injuries may have assisted in that, but other than that, he's not been that well. He's not performed that well this year in reference to his other years.
Relative, he should do. He needs a better season from himself. If Kevin De Bruyne had scored like a brace to win Man City the Champions League, then we might talk about this. But that's not how that went down.
Oh, mate,
it's not how that went down.
No.
But notice that Kai Havertz isn't on this list. So a Champions League goal doesn't necessarily get you,
It's all right. We got what, 4 or 5 Chelsea players on this list?
So. We'll get to them.
Yeah.
We'll get to them. Well, so and I'll say this now: if we're going to try and get a player to break into that finalist list, it's not going to be a Man City player for me.
No.
I think there's a couple more here, and they're not going to do it for me either. But I will show them some respect as we go through them.
I just want to mention quickly. You mentioned before Ruben Diaz got the Premier League Player of the Year for the previous season that just went by. I mean, that is a good achievement. Don't get me wrong. Like that's a very good achievement, but it wasn't like he won that substantially compared to everyone else. Like it could have went either way to a few players last year in the last season. So it's not like he outright won Player of the Year.
But even then, I mean, the PFA, it's less so than the Ballon d'Or, but there's still an attacking bias in those individual awards. So the fact that he won it is an incredible show.
It is.
I mean, so I respect it as an achievement, but for me, I need more. That leads us to a player who I think me and Matt both know this player is incredible. They arose from the ashes to save the team when it was needed. They're definitely one of the greatest players in that team. We're talking about none other than Michail Antonio, highest West Ham all-time goal scorer.
He's not on this list, mate. He's not on this. We're talking about the safest hands, one of the safest hands in the world, the savior for Italy, the guy who, when the Euro trophy's on the line, penalties, he comes up and makes some clutch saves. He performs amazingly in every game he plays. He's undoubtedly the best goalkeeper in the world at the moment.
Yeah,
and he is someone that would be put in place of this into these top 7 favorites, in my opinion.
Yeah,
and that's Gianluigi Donnarumma.
Yeah, I totally agree with everything Matt said, but I'll check. I had you for a second, didn't I? You were like, I agree with everything he's saying here, and then you realized what was going on.
No. But the question now is, who would he replace? Because we've already established that we would replace Benzema with a centre back. Who would he replace with the remaining players here?
That is a very good point. Assuming that we don't. Let's say, right, that Benzema could be replaced by a centre-back or Donnarumma. For me, Donnarumma has to be here.
Yeah.
I think for him not to be here is ridiculous because his performances in Serie A at both club and international level, incredible. Absolutely incredible. I think that for him not to be here is disgraceful.
I mean, I've got a player in mind who I'd pick to swap him out with.
Be honest.
If we were talking about Benzema already being taken off and the centre back already been putting in there, I'd swap him out for Kylian Mbappe.
I was actually thinking the exact same thing. I was looking at these stats and I'm thinking, we've talked about him before about Mbappe not being as good as he was in when he won the World Cup. He sort of like people thought he was going to kick off to the next level. His goal stats are good. His goal stats are really good for club.
For country, it's a different
league,
story.
Yeah, it's a little different. To be fair, he is in Ligue 1. It's not a particular Farmers League does apply to
Mm.
Ligue 1. So take it with a grain of salt, the goals. I respect Haaland's goals way more than I respect Kylian Mbappe's goals. I respect Ronaldo's goals more, similar reasons. But I do think that Kylian Mbappe, he's not in this conversation. Kylian Mbappe is nowhere near to winning this Ballon d'Or award.
No, he's not.
So I think if Benzema's already gone, it's Kylian Mbappe for me, because I think Messi and Ronaldo have to be here for different reasons. I think that Lewandowski and Haaland cannot be taken out, but
They deserve to
Mbappe,
be there. Yeah.
you can take him out. I absolutely agree with that. Donnarumma, the goalkeeper, has to be here because of his performances.
Yeah,
He's been incredible. I think that to not have him on here is a bit shameful.
exactly.
I mean, yeah.
So just looking at his stats from this image that we have, you look at his international appearances. It's, other than Ronaldo's, it is the highest in this list of appearances. And he's only scored 4 goals.
Yeah.
He's only like, if you're going to be on this list, you're going to be scoring. You need to score more than 4 goals at the international level if you're an attacking player. And I mean, you look at all the other guys. Ronaldo's 10, Lewandowski's 8, Erling Haaland 7, and he scored the same amount of international goals as Karim Benzema. So
there's the thing. It's like, you could break it down logically like this. Donnarumma was great for club and country. Mbappe had a good season for club, but like the rest of the France squad, bad time for country.
I mean, they burnt out in, what was it, the
round of 16
finals or round of 16?
I think it was straight round of 16 exit to Switzerland on penalties after that 3-3.
Yeah, I remember it because Mbappe's penalty got saved.
Yeah,
but I don't remember what round.
I don't know how he gets in this list, because the others, I can at least see them all winning it.
You know how
Mbappe, I don't.
Do you know how he gets in on this list? It's how everyone views, Ronaldo and Messi. They're each other's foes. It's like Batman versus Superman, and that's what they're trying to portray with the next generation of Erling Haaland and Kylian Mbappe. That's why he's on this list.
So he has to be
that's
there.
That's why he's a favorite, yeah.
But he shouldn't be here for me personally. But okay, so we've established that. So let's move on to, another player that this was a player who could have very easily won the Premier League Player of the Year, for the 2020-21 season. Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah. As much as I hate United, I have to agree with that.
Here's the thing, though. He's had a very terrible start to this season. Bad for country.
Even worse for club.
Yeah, but not in the first half of the year.
Not in the first
last season he was very good, but he's looked bad with Ronaldo in the side.
Yeah,
he looked pretty bad for Portugal, where he also plays with Ronaldo. I think if Bruno Fernandes hadn't had Ronaldo come to Manchester United, he'd have a way better chance of actually being able to compete in the Ballon d'Or. But with Ronaldo, the way Ronaldo's affected Bruno's performances, he's just not in this conversation at all.
Yeah, and
it's a shame.
We've talked about it, I believe, off the camera before, and we've talked about on the camera before of how I think Ronaldo's presence in the Man United squad affects their players and sort of draws away from their players into him and brings down their players, and will somewhat disadvantage the development of the youth players. So it's not surprising that this has happened to Bruno Fernandes. So I guess, we'll have to see if Bruno and Ronaldo can play together, because currently it's not looking too good for both of them playing together.
No, it's not. It's just Bruno loves to be the center of attacking movements, and I just don't think he works really well with Ronaldo, considering that Bruno loves to sort of get in and amongst the goals himself. It's just not a combination that works, because Ronaldo views himself like the end of the funnel. Everything goes through him.
Yeah.
I just don't think that's how Bruno likes to play. It results in him not getting involved. He sits back. Yeah, he just doesn't have that sort of creative flair to actually create goals directly.
I think when you have Ronaldo in your team, it sort of becomes he becomes the center of attention. So everything has to go through him, like you just said. It has to be funneled through him. That's why a lot of his goals and stuff throughout the year, especially for Portugal, have been very highly inflated, because everything has to be through him attacking wise through Portugal. And now that someone else like Fernandes is coming through, it's Ronaldo's been there for that many years that he's like, no, it's still my time. You're going to give me the ball, and you're going to let me play my game, and then you can play whatever you want until I finish. And then when I finish, you can step into the role. But right now, it's me.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And that leaves us now with, we've got two people on our finals list coming up, but between them, we've got another Man City player. We've got Phil Foden. I love him. Great player, absolutely an incredible kind of talent, but not really going to get it. This is a higher level than he's attained so far. Look, he's not quite there yet. He's further off than Mbappe is. So
look,
what's he going to do?
And I always believe in honesty is the best policy, and he's one of the top youth players or top players under 23 in the world at the moment. But he is not a top player to get into this Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, this is a higher level. Yeah. He's not there. Yeah. So we're going to toss him out of hand. He doesn't come into this discussion. Better luck next year, Phil Foden. Keep developing. Good on you. That leads us to Erling Haaland and Jorginho, who are both on our finals list. And I think this is a great time to mention, get into a little bit deeper into this bias that we've established.
Let's do it.
There's been players that have gotten close to breaking the mold. I remember when Liverpool won the Champions League, they were talking about players like Alisson and Van Dijk. Then what ended up happening? It just didn't happen. Those players did not win that award. It was just quite shameful what happened there, actually. That Messi just grabbed that award and took it. And it just seemed like a very simple outcome when that was really the opportunity to show a little bit more and give it to a goalkeeper or a defender. It just didn't happen. It was shameful. It's disappointing. And that's what might happen this year again. That's the fear, isn't it, Matt? That Jorginho, it doesn't get respected.
I think I don't think it is a fear, but I think it is going to happen again because you look at those guys on the finalist list. You look at Jorginho, and you look at how they portray his stats compared to them. But the stats for this particular image that we have doesn't take into account that he won the Euros with Italy. He's held down the midfield while he was playing through the whole competition. He
won the Champions League.
Won the Champions League with Chelsea. That's what I was getting to. He consistently plays well in the midfield in club games. He is a very good penalty taker. He has a pretty high penalty conversion.
And the Chelsea team he's a part of now that he plays game week, game in, game out for, is top of the league right now.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to argue his point. There's no negative performance Jorginho has had.
Maybe
incredible.
Maybe dyeing his hair. His hair.
Terrible decision. Strip him of all awards for that one. Yeah. That's it. It's a shame because I think that this would be a chance to give it away. And Lewandowski probably goes, well, what about me? I should have won it, but COVID stopped me. Lewandowski should have won it 2020 when Bayern won the Champions League in the middle of COVID. But, you snooze, you lose, move aside and let's give it to a player that doesn't get appreciated enough because he's not amongst the goals.
I read somewhere that they will be announcing, I don't know if you heard anything about it, they will be announcing a winner for the previous season's Ballon d'Or as well. Which will be. It will be Lewandowski, but he won't get a ceremony or anything.
No. And I think that'll ruin it a little bit for him. I think he'll feel like that's
he'll
not
feel hard done
great
by.
for him.
He'll feel hard
he
done
will.
by.
Yeah. But we're going to keep both of them in our finalist list that we take to the great debate. Because I think we don't think there's a need to take either of them out. No, they're pretty solid players. Haven't even needed to mention Haaland there. I mean, the man's record speaks for himself. 1.2 goals a game, but he's fine. Yeah. He's not going anywhere.
He's basically he's 41 appearances, 41 goals for Dortmund, 10 assists as well.
He can stay there. Yeah. So let's consider the next few players rapid fire because I think the next three
are pretty easy to get through.
Good players, and I think so we've got Harry Kane, N'Golo Kante, and Simon. I'm going to mispronounce the hell out of this. Simon Kjaer. which I if it's Danish, Cager.
Yeah, it's Danish.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But AC Milan player, Chelsea player, Tottenham player. Harry Kane shouldn't be here. I mean, Golden Boot winner, 2021, but he hasn't been great. He didn't get his move. He's not been recognized with a lot of other individual awards. I just don't think he's there. I think out of these three, it's N'Golo Kante for me.
I think N'Golo Kante is the best one out of the three, but he's also had a season riddled with a few injuries as well.
Yeah. If it was for a better country performance and a better, less injuries, he'd replace for Jorginho for me here.
Definitely. The one thing that holds him higher than Harry Kane and the AC Milan defender you previously mentioned as well is the fact that through every single round of the Champions League, he got the player of that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why you can argue, despite his injuries, despite what happened at country level, he's still in this conversation because you don't get those sort of man of the match performance in multiple knockout rounds on the way to a Champions League trophy. It's insane. He deserves to be mentioned. Unfortunately, he's not going to break into our finalist list, but
unfortunately not.
Honorable mention. Absolutely. Definitely. If Jorginho got in, if we had to create like a 7-a-side team with this, and Jorginho got injured, we'd bring on Kante. That'd be how I'd put it. That leaves us with another, major figure here, who is also not going to be taken off this list like Haaland. Robert Lewandowski, as we were saying, cheated out of the 2020 Ballon d'Or, might be getting that rectified soon. Incredible, 1 goal a game?
No, 1.2 goals a game.
1.2 goals.
He's 48 goals in 40 appearances for club, 9 assists for club as well. 10 appearances for the Polish team, 8 goals and 2 assists.
Yeah, he's got to be. He's good. He'll be fine. He's not going anywhere. I think that, the strikers that we have there, Haaland and Lewandowski, there's no moving.
They're solidified in these favourites,
Yeah. That leaves us to, so the next few names, quick fire: Romelu Lukaku, Riyad Mahrez, Lautaro Martinez. Yeah. Now, Lukaku, good, but not that good.
No.
Inter Milan, won Serie A, broke Juventus's hold. That's cool. Not really anything happening at Chelsea yet. No Champions League performance, no real individual medal, recognition. Not to mention, Belgium really didn't perform as good as they needed to in this tournament. I feel it wasn't good enough from them. So, on many levels, it doesn't work. Riyad Mahrez and Lautaro and Martinez, on the other hand, though, this is a little different. Romelu Lukaku, he's had some accomplishments. Riyad Mahrez and Martinez, I don't really know why they're here.
Yeah, look, I have to agree as well. When I saw them on the list, I was like, really? Like,
they fill out the numbers, basically. I mean, they're great players. Don't get me wrong. Great players.
They are great players.
But this is the Ballon d'Or.
You look at them in comparison to the rest of the players on the list as well.
Yeah. They're not in that level. So this is very similar to some of the players we were discussing before, especially who are on the list but don't really hit that level. Like we were talking about Bruno and Phil Foden. It's just, this is the Ballon d'Or. We're at a higher level than that. You can be really good for a few months, but we're looking for something a little more with the Ballon d'Or. Yeah. That actually leaves us with
someone that we voted to take out, and Kylian Mbappe. So we've already talked about him. And why?
Sorry, mate. What do you want us to do? What do you want us to do?
You plateaued since the 2018 World Cup. You were, by this time you're supposed to be you were supposed to be the next Ronaldo, and Haaland was supposed to be the next Messi, or vice versa, whichever way people used to see it. But
you said Messi, and he's the next player on our list.
That's it.
Also not getting replaced. I think Messi can't be taken off because of combination of basically keeping Barca alive and also winning internationally the first time he's done so, despite heartbreak in years past. I remember the game against Chile. He will be feeling over the moon about that. And I think that achievement deserves him in our finalist list.
I remember the World Cups as well.
Yeah. Heartbreak against Germany.
Yeah.
But here we are. I think he will stay. We've actually got another previous Ballon d'Or winner next on this list. I'm sorry, Modric, it's not your year. I don't care what team you're playing for. I don't care that you're a Real Madrid player. Like, I know Real Madrid deserve representation on this list, but that ain't it, mate. That's cap. That's serious cap.
He's going to be a Newcastle player in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, sorry, mate. You're not here, and I'm sorry. You can take Gerard Moreno with you. You can both skip off to Newcastle because you're not in this conversation.
And it's look similar to Phil Foden with the next player as well, Mason Mount. He is one of the top young talents in the world as well. Been playing really well for Chelsea this year. Has had some good games for the England squad as well. But like I said before, Foden, they're good for being under 23 roughly, but not good enough to break through into these final 7 people.
Let's note him because we'll come back to our chosen finalists, and I just want to keep Mason Mount as an honourable mention, and we'll come back to that.
I was about to say that as well. He is on a higher level than Phil Foden, but
great for Chelsea, great for international. We will see. We'll see about him. I'd like to come back and discuss, like mentioned, because I think he's at a higher level than Phil Foden for this year's considerations.
Definitely.
So Neymar, sorry, mate, you're not in this one. You missed your chance. Your chance to win a Ballon d'Or was a few years ago. You've really missed out on this one. If Mbappe's not getting it, you're not getting it. It's as simple as that. Go, I don't know, go slap your sister's ass again or something like that. I don't know, like what on earth you're doing with your life, Neymar. You need to calm down, realize you're never going to win a Ballon d'Or in your life, and just get over it. Go back to Brazil, mate. Like, be close to family. A little too close to family.
Let's move to the next player before.
This player has normal relations with his family. Pedri.
And he is someone that I'd put in a similar category to Mason Mount for his performances this year, especially his durability.
Yeah, he's a great player. He sort of got pushed too far, ended up with an injury. That was definite man mismanagement by Ronald Koeman. But great player, but not this year.
No.
You know, he will have better odds for the Ballon d'Or in years to come. This is not his year. He can take being nominated as an achievement and move on, and see what happens from there.
I would like to mention though that his nomination, I think, holds more value than Phil Foden's nomination.
I can agree with that. Yeah. Oh, not by much though.
Not by much. In terms of like we said before, his durability and how he performed during all those games. I mean, he played pretty much every single game for Barcelona and the Spanish national team as well.
Yeah, great player for Spain. I'd put him down as not enough this year. It's a very tough competition to really get into this as a real competitor.
Would you honourable mention him though?
I would honourable mention him as a future Ballon d'Or winner.
Yeah,
that's what I'd do. Next is Cristiano Ronaldo, who, if there was any of the remaining forwards to strike off,
it'd be him.
It might be him,
But no, it's on the mind. It would be him. If it was the remaining forward we had to take off, it's him. Definitely. I mean, he's had...
It's sort of like, he sort of turned that Juve team really just into something quite poor. No matter his goals, I think the effect on the team needs to be taken into account, and he did not have a good effect on that Juve team. They're still struggling to recover from what he did, despite all the goals he brought. Not to mention, not great for Portugal. Sort of the same boat as Bruno in that together their partnership sort of brought Portugal down. And a couple goals from Manchester United, but once again, we're seeing an effect on the team dynamic. I think it should be taken into account. But out of the others, he probably doesn't rate as highly for me. No trophy. Didn't win an international award, a Champions League, or a domestic trophy. And, Haaland falls into the same boat, but the difference for Haaland is Haaland was has an
Exceptional.
incredible goal scoring record.
Haaland was exceptional this season.
He forces his way in because of that goal scoring record. Cristiano Ronaldo scored goals, but Lewandowski won domestic titles. Even Kylian Mbappe won domestic titles, although I don't think that's as relevant. Messi won international trophy. This wasn't a great year for Ronaldo. I think he gets in there because, if Messi gets in there, Ronaldo has to be in there.
It's the presence. It's got to be, it's got to be, one's in to the other's in. You've got to have two people to clash it against each other, like the two current greats of the sport. But like you mentioned before, and like I said earlier as well, he brings down the team dynamic, especially it's more prominent than Man United now.
In the past, he didn't do that. When he was winning Ballon d'Ors, he didn't bring down. When he was at Real Madrid, he was fitted into something. And it was something that worked for Real Madrid and made them an overall better team. That's not what he's doing now. And the thing is, why I'd say this is important is because it's the fact that it's happening now is because of an individual trait. He's getting slower, less clinical. I think that his individual personality and performances are damaging the team. And I think that's why it should be included, because it comes from his individual traits. And now, however, so we've established Cristiano as someone who could get pushed out, but I wouldn't replace. There's one of the next three last players that I would consider replacing him with.
And I think I know who you're going to
take a guess. Take a guess.
It's the next one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Mohamed Salah. So Mohamed Salah, Raheem Sterling, and Luis Suarez. Salah's playing out of his skin. But the problem is that's only been the start of this season. Not great season for Liverpool last time round.
Not a great.
But if any of these last three players, if any of these three players were to do it, it would be Mohamed Salah. Incredible form right now, but that's not quite enough to get you into a Ballon d'Or contention. So that's all 30. So based on that, what we've actually got is our 7 finalists going into the great debate would be Haaland for his goal scoring record.
Yep.
Lewandowski for a similar incredible goal scoring record.
Yep.
That's only continued as this season has gone. Messi for great work at Barcelona and really good work as part of he did play a big part in that. Then it gets a little tricky. We've got Donnarumma instead of Kylian Mbappe. We're keeping Jorginho in. And we've replaced Karim Benzema
with either
Bonucci or Chiellini.
Yeah, and then that leaves one spot left open.
One spot left. Who on this list? Now, we've mentioned 2 players as honourable mentions. Both of them were Chelsea players, if I recall.
I know, yes, they were. N'Golo Kante and Mason Mount. I mean, there is one other Chelsea player who's not on this list. Who I think should replace Ronaldo in here, but it would never happen because you would never have 2 goalkeepers in the top 7.
No, you wouldn't.
You would never have 2 goalkeepers in the top 7, but
or even in the top 30.
Exactly.
Donnarumma is the only goalkeeper in the
And this guy for Chelsea and for his country as well has been playing out of his skin. I mean, he's got. I think it's for his season his tenure at Chelsea at the moment. He's had 34 clean sheets out of 59 appearances. So that's about 60%. 60% of his game.
I will not challenge Donnarumma being here. Absolutely, no. I do not challenge him being here at all.
No, but I do think Edouard Mendy should be in the top 30.
Yeah, I can respect that. Get him in ahead of Martinez.
There's a few players that
there's a few. Raheem Sterling, great Euros, but he's played like in previous years. He's gotten on this nomination, and he played better in those years than he has this time round. So I don't know. That's a dodgy one for me.
He's been taking a dive, not just financially, but
God damn it, Matt. All right. Well, we need a player to replace Ronaldo with then in our top 7 to take to the great debate, Matt. A player who could fit in, because if we can't figure out a player that replaces him, then Ronaldo's got to come with us. Because while I said that Ronaldo hasn't been great, at the end of the day, you do have to consider a great scoring record for Juventus. So the player that replaces him can't be anyone. They've also have to have been really good. Really good.
I think we take who we have now. We take the honourable mentions into our great debate with Anthony. and we put it forward to him, because I know Anthony loves Ronaldo. Anthony's gonna do everything in his power. He's gonna argue this point for hours and hours and hours that Ronaldo should be on this list.
Yeah.
So I think we take it to him and we give the viewers a bit more content and show them our battle against Anthony to get Cristiano Ronaldo off his favourites list.
Yep. All right. Well, let's solidify it there. We're taking Haaland, Lewandowski, Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, Jorginho.
Not Mbappe.
Not Mbappe. Donnarumma. We're taking Donnarumma in replacement of Mbappe is what I meant. And then we're taking, to decide on, Bonucci or Chiellini. For me, it's got to be Bonucci, if I had to compare.
Look, it's either one of them for me.
It's coming to Rome. It's coming to Rome. It's got to be.
I mean, you're not picking Chiellini for the grab and Bukayo Saka. Just pull him back, mate.
Yeah, I'm going to choose Bonucci for me.
Yeah.
So that would be Bonucci, Jorginho, Donnarumma, Ronaldo, Messi, Lewandowski, Haaland, and then taking Mount and Kante as honourable mentions and potentially pushing Ronaldo out. And then in the great debate, we will be choosing our Ballon d'Or choice. Thank you for watching, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed this sort of setup for the great debate. I'm sure there's some controversial decisions we've made here. I'm sure there's some Neymar fans who will be very disappointed with comments made. But yeah, whatever. I'll see you on the streets.
I'm a proud Chelsea and Italian supporter and lover.
Comes through in this bias. We've got 3 Chelsea players we're taking with us.
I'm very rich Italian heritage, and I am a Chelsea supporter. I've been a Chelsea supporter since the day I started watching football, and I'll be a Chelsea supporter my whole life. So this list, I'm happy with. Okay, we've got some good representation of both in there.
Of
both.
All right. Thank you for watching, everyone. Get prepared. The great debate will be on its way within a few days, maybe. So keep an eye out for it. We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time.
Thanks for listening to the good word.